Hi everyone, I'm JD. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so sorry about the lighting. It looks really dark, but we'll try to just make do. In this video, I'm going to share my traveler's notebook that I took with me to Cairns on my holiday. And this is my Chic Sparrow cover. Yeah, I shared all this in the previous video. I'll link it below so I don't have to repeat myself. Just about all the supplies I took and everything like that. And I'll just do a flip through of the actual junk journal TN that I made specifically for this holiday. So I'll just take it out. And, oh, I took the dashboard out too. Here it is. So, yeah, I've got a few other things to add in there. I've still got some ephemera to add in these bits and pieces that we collected from the beach. And I still will have to print out my photos and stick those in. So you're getting kind of the skeleton and all the journaling part. And what I did was each night I would journal about the day, and I would also stick in any ephemera that I collected along the way, or most of it anyway. Some of it I kept aside because I'm not sure which page I want it to go on yet. But mainly I just put it there to, I don't know, enhance memories for what I'm writing about. So I've got something here that reminds me, oh yes, I went on the train, and that it could correlate. So I can be like, oh yeah, I'm writing about the train here and I've got the train ticket there. But sometimes it didn't always work that way, and I just put the ephemera on a random page, and that was just to get it in the journal and also to just make the pages a bit more interesting. So when I flip to them, I'll be like, oh yeah, there's already something there, and I can go ahead and write. So yeah, I use these label stickers I talked about in the previous video to write the date and the day each time I set about writing about the new day. And then, yeah, I just kind of, some pages I just wrote straight on with writing. And I did try to, as much as possible, decorate the pages to, add that whole interest and variety. So later on I started doing that. And I think the label stickers just add a lot. When you don't have many supplies, these can just add a bit more to the page, I reckon. So things like, I don't know, the wristband when I went to the wildlife habitat, and we got pamphlets. So one thing I learned last year on the trip, because I went to Cairns last year as well, and I would try to get as much free stuff as possible, any free brochures and things, and occasionally I would buy postcards and the other pamphlets that you could buy. And when I got back, one of the things I realized was, because I didn't buy any souvenirs or anything, or I didn't really buy anything else much on the trip, it was actually worth it to put in that money to get the brochures and pamphlets and postcards from every single place I went. So it doesn't really, a postcard's $1, so it doesn't really mean anything anyway, add up to anything much anyway. So may as well just do it. And then what I bring back is souvenirs of the places that I've been to and memories, and yeah, I can use them to decorate the pages. The postcards themselves I can use as journal cards. It's just great. So I thought that's a worthwhile thing to do to really make the journal pop, I suppose. That's not usually a word I use, but anyway. And so that was one thing that I tried to do as much as possible. So I bought this at the wildlife habitat. There's a whole bunch of animals and birds, and there's this guide to some of the animals and birds they have there, and you can identify them using this guide. So I just cut out a few of my favorite images from that guide, and also the ones that were relevant. So I fed this little critter here, this gorgeous little wallaby. He was so adorable. Oh my goodness. And I got to pat him. He came right over to me. It was great. We had to open this gate thing to get into the section where the kangaroos and wallabies were. And as soon as I walked through the gate, this little guy, this little wallaby, just hopped over to me, like directly to me. And so I patted it, and then I fed it, and oh, it was just like, oh, this is amazing. Anyway, so yeah, I cut out a picture of that to remind me of that and all that kind of stuff. And later I'm going to annotate all this stuff. And at Wildlife Habitat, my nephew and I picked up some feathers. So that's just fun. Washi tapes that in. At lunch, we had lunch there, and it's called Lunch with the Lorikeets. So this lady came around to each of the tables, and we could have a lorikeet and a cockatoo, a black cockatoo, on our arms, and you could get photos with them. So I got that. So that was really, really cool. I loved it. Again, I just put the little pamphlet there, Lunch with the Lorikeets, to remind me of that. Just some other of my favourite birds there. My train ticket is in this pocket. The kingfisher, love the kingfisher, and the kookaburra. So some things I left blank because that's where I want to put my photos. I'm hoping I left enough space for photos, and also hoping I didn't leave too much space. But either way, I can work things out. A receipt of some of the things I bought on the trip, just, food for the stay. Very mundane, but, it's all recording the trip. The next day, so starting the next day with a label sticker and just a map of where we stayed. And then we went to the butterfly sanctuary on this day. So I got my favourite butterfly, and I love this label sticker. It has a butterfly on it, so of course I just used that there. My highlight was when a butterfly landed on my hand. Oh my gosh, it was actually an amazing day that day because 3 butterflies landed on me. One on my shoulder, one on my back, and the one on my hand, though, that was the most special one. Some days you go there, like last year I went and nothing landed on me, so pretty fun though. Just other little bits and pieces, lots of space to add photos. Here's the next day. This is actually my sister. She pointed this flower out on a walk we did, and she said, that's my favourite colour. So we picked one for my nephew's journal, one for me, and stuck it in our journals with some washi tape. And just like the receipts again of places we went to. My mum gave my nephew and me, what's it called? Hang on, I'll show you. You make it out of these wood pieces. All of these are separate pieces and you glue them together. And she gave me a fairy wren, or a blue wren, and my nephew a kookaburra. So that's really cute, and it's now something that sits on my desk to remind me of the trip. And that came from the packaging that was in, so it's a fun reminder. Again, just little pamphlets. Oh, hello, my voice, come back. Alright, and my nephew drew this picture. The places that we stayed at, or the place we stayed at, had these rock stack things, and so we built our own one and called it Iggy, because I think it was made out of igneous rocks. It may have been sedimentary, but I'm calling it igneous, so Iggy for short. Over here, this was like a pocket page, so I just journaled on part of it, and this is a pamphlet from the crocodile place we went to. Pretty impressive. We went on this lagoon boat ride and saw the crocodiles leap out of the water to try and get some meat that the lady had on a stick. So here's the next day, and we're at the middle of the signature, so leaving space again for pictures. And then the next day here is the train ride back to Bowen. So I just got Queensland Rail and my label sticker and the lunch I had on the trip from the packaging. I just pulled off the sticker and stuck it in my journal right then and there. And then my tickets and baggage thingies from the train. I went to a bookshop while I was there, and they gave me this bookmark, and I bought 2 books, and it's been just great getting back into reading. I love it. And my nephew drew this picture of a tomato while I was drawing some pictures too, and I'll have to show you that in a later video. I managed to draw a picture every day. 2 of them I finished completely. The others I just did the outline. So it was really good to get back into drawing as well. And I think at least one of my subscribers asked me to do an actual drawing on my channel, and so I may be able to do that, colour it all in on my channel if you are still wanting that. I don't know, we'll see how we go. But yeah, I'll show those later and all the meanings behind them. Some of them were to do with the mental health art books, so I'll slot those into the book. And then yeah, all of these blank pages for the rest of my photos, and then I just added a few bits of other ephemera. So just swatches of colour. The Collins bookstore that I went to, that was the bag that the books came in. So my nephew collected rocks from the beach and I helped him identify them. I did a bit of geology when I first went to uni, so that was quite fun. In here, more packaging from that box showing how to make that fairy wren. So just slotted that into the bag here. And you'll notice that there's no postcards in my TN. The reason for that is that the postcards don't fit in this size TN. That's okay. I'm putting them in my 2019 personal diary. So I'm going to document the trip in this in this journal as well. Just a double page spread, that's all. I'll choose a page like that, and I'll just stick my maybe top 3 favorite photos here or something. Sorry. And I will just write a quick summary of the trip here, and maybe flip out or put a pocket with all the postcards in there. So that's what I'm going to do with those. What else? Do I have anything else in here? Oh yes, so this is from the soap packet from the house we stayed at, and at the back I'm going to put all the photos of the house and just a bit of journaling about the house. And then here I stuck on the back cover the front of the packaging for that. So yeah, that is what I've got so far for my TN. Really happy, because one of the things that helped is, like last year, my journaling for the trip, what I did was I didn't really journal on the trip. When I came back, I realized that I really wanted to journal about the trip. And let me get it. I did a series showing how I made this. I'll link it below if you'd like to see. But yeah, I documented the whole trip after I got back. And so it took a lot of effort and just a lot of time, and I'm glad I did and everything, but I prefer, having done it both ways, I prefer this way, where while I'm on the trip, I'm journaling about the trip, so that's not so overwhelming when I get back. And also, it's a relief, so when I get back from the trip, I can be like, oh, okay, it's all good, because all my memories are in here, I've got it all documented, and I can kind of move on much easier, whereas last year, I was just totally almost devastated that it was over, and I was like grieving that it was gone, and I was heartbroken, saying bye to family and all that. But this time, having journaled about it made the transition a bit easier. It still felt a bit lost and a bit empty and grieving the end of the holiday and saying goodbye to family, but it wasn't as terrible and painful as last year because of this, I think. Well, maybe because I went through it for a first time, so I was a bit more prepared, but I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I journaled while I was there, so that I know I haven't completely lost it. It's still with me. I always will have this, the memories are right here, and yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense, but just writing and memory keeping, it just really helps me. So yeah, that is my travel journal from last year, my travel journal from this year, and now I will print out the photos, stick those in, stick in the last pieces of ephemera and everything, and then I'll do a final flip through for you guys. Alright, well, I hope that was inspiring for you to maybe start a journal, start a travel journal, make a journal, I don't know, just journal. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!